Good morning, everyone. Today is July 9th, and it is 8:34 a.m. And this is the Master Plan Committee meeting. And I'll do a roll call of the members present. Andrea Wood.
Here.
Karen Clement.
Here.
Bill Rideout.
Here.
And I am Kim Craven. So this was, let's see, the agenda additions or deletions. I don't have anything, but review of the past minutes. Bill very timely sent those over and I forwarded them to you right after the meeting. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at them?
Yes, I make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Andrea,
Aye.
Karen,
Yes, aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and I accept them as well. So the next thing, general discussion. There is a planning board meeting on Monday. I am not available. I can send a report, and certainly if someone wants to attend in person, they can. Does anyone want to attend the meeting on Zoom? Or do you want me to just send a report?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We're just sending them a report of the chapters we're sending, and I don't know that there's much to it. So,
okay. Anyone have any other thoughts?
When you send the information to Beth, can Beth, just pass it on like she has been doing? Is that okay? Or do they?
Yeah, that's okay. The invitation is there, so I just wanted to run it by everyone and let them know what we decided. So I will go ahead and send them an update. I know Beth has our next meeting, but I'll put that in the report as well, and an update based on the chapters that we have. So on the maps, I think we are all set with maps. Bill did go ahead and make it so that the drive time maps in the economic development chapter match one another. While they don't match the maps from MRPC, at least within the chapter, they match. So I appreciate that greatly. It decreases some of my stress level about inconsistency. So at least those two, and they're great. They're wonderful representation of kind of where Indian Hill is with the drive time and where Townsend Center is with the drive time. I think it gives people a good perspective of kind of what's in the area. So I think we're rounded out with that. I will say the maps are definitely, as I'm working to get them into the document, it definitely create some challenges with the page breaks and things like that, but we can continue to get that worked out. And for the minutes, I think it's 8:37. Don Hayes has joined us. Welcome, Don.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to come off mute.
No problem. We were just discussing the minutes were accepted from the last meeting.
Yep.
We talked about sending a report over for the planning board with some chapters, and that we'll send a report with that, not in person, and that our maps are all set. So now diving into the assignment of work, you have sort of 3 chapters from me and Bill. So Bill had started the economic development. I added some information. I circulated that. The zoning became a chapter in and of itself rather than trying to get that into the other chapters, because some of it would have been repetitive. I need to know if you guys are okay with that, or if you really want to put that into other chapters. And then the housing chapter, I got some comments from Bill, which I was able to just incorporate, send back to everybody. And then Karen has reviewed and given me some typos to catch and things like that. So on those particular chapters, do we want to talk about anything, any concerns or thoughts?
so with the idea of the zoning chapter being its own chapter,
Yeah.
what I would like to make the document more consistent, and you could probably just do this yourself, Kim, is within the housing and the economic development chapters, each of them have a paragraph saying there are zoning issues related to housing, or there are zoning issues related to economic development. These will be discussed in a separate chapter of zoning,
Okay.
just to, so if they only read the economic development chapter, they'll say, where's all the zoning stuff?
Absolutely, I can make that change. Anyone have any other thoughts with the zoning chapter or either the other two, housing and economic development?
So the other thought I had about the zoning chapter is that, because it's just recommendation, there's no evidence in there. We should say, these zoning changes were driven by requirements in the housing and the economic development chapter. I just want it's just like, it's all recommendations and no evidence. So either
Okay.
point to the other chapters or else repeat the evidence, from the surveys in the zoning chapter. Either one would be fine, but it just stands out as just being, just plucked from nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. The first part is related to the state change from earlier this year in the first paragraph.
Right, and
The other
that's
ones,
why.
yeah.
Right.
So, and I'll flag that. Okay.
So basically what you're saying is that it's based on state changes and the survey, and what else?
And I'll add in there that Judy Barrett did provide insight on that. That was the most usable information that we did get from FXM.
Okay.
Do you think that's appropriate?
So her findings were based on what?
Trends in the region.
Trends in the-
And
okay,
yeah.
that's good. All right, thank you.
Okay. So that's additions for the zoning chapter, and in there, when we're all done, after planning board looks at it, and I should probably note this, that we have the maps to add to that section.
Oh yeah, I should have. I was going to say there's no maps in that one, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Right. It's just mainly for portability, size, emailing back and forth. Right. But maybe I should flag those areas where the maps would go. Okay. The housing chapter. Any thoughts on where that stands right now?
Ready to submit to planning board, hopefully.
Okay. Just real quickly then, back on the zoning chapter, are you okay with me making those changes and then just sending it to the board, or do you want to review it and decide at another meeting on that chapter?
My feeling is, as long as you make the changes that are in line with the suggestions from the meeting, if you decide you want to make some significant changes outside of what we discussed, then probably we should review it. But
yeah,
if it's just what we just discussed, I don't think we need to go over your verbiage of it.
Okay. If while I'm reading it, there is something that comes up, I'll just send everybody an email, and I'll include you on the email when I send it to Beth, so that you have the copy that's going at the same time that it goes to them.
Sounds good.
Okay. Housing chapter.
So other than the addition about, the zoning being elsewhere.
Yeah.
Say the same things. make the
Okay.
changes and then send it. unless it's a major
In
change.
flagging the maps, I'll add a note of the maps that we have to add.
To the housing chapter, you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
just that same note.
You'll send the maps along to the planning board, so it'll be a complete chapter for them to review.
I'll just list them in there. It gets really big when the maps go in. I suppose I could degrade the map size.
I mean,
I
why
could
not
do
just,
that.
can't you just send them a Dropbox link?
They have all the maps. Beth has all the maps.
Oh, okay. All right. They have that.
Yeah.
That's fine then.
Okay, any other changes, suggestions on that particular chapter?
Nope.
Okay, economic development.
So the same, just the issue of the reference to the zoning issues being elsewhere.
Okay. Nothing else, no other changes to that chapter? Okay. Andrea, let's talk about your chapter and how to resolve it, just as Andrea can chime in as well, but she sent me something. However, her track changes and suggestions somehow are not showing up. Even if I change the settings and track changes to, try to view it in a different lens. So, Andrea, how do you think is the best way for us to get that resolved? I know you had some meetings last night, as did I. So do you have any time later today? Maybe we can go over them verbally.
All right. I really had no significant changes to what you said, other than near the end of it, there were several figures you wanted checked on,
Yes.
and I checked on those, and some changed, some didn't. So I can send you those if you would like,
Okay.
and that would put it up. Do you have one kind of cockamamie sentence about
Well, only one, that's good.
Yeah. Well, parts of it were crossed out and stuff. It was hard to read. It was after the part about the center fire station.
Yep.
I inserted a thing that at the annual town meeting in 2015, we raised $159,000 to purchase the American Legion, which was a former female seminary, which you had mentioned earlier. So I thought it was good to follow up its fate, sort of, and to purchase them, demolish them, and then in 2018 we took occupancy of our new fire station. That was the only thing that I really inserted that hadn't been in there before.
Okay. And then you had mentioned something about the number or types of committees.
Oh, yes. You said you wanted to know how many appointed or elected committees there were.
Yes.
There are 17 elected, 25 appointed, which is a long way from 66.
It is. That's why I wanted you to check all those numbers that I had.
Yes.
Okay.
And Kathy counted them out she's got some kind of a printout, and she
Okay,
counted them
wonderful.
out for me. So it wasn't a guess.
Okay.
And then you had something, there were three figures. I can't remember. 2010, 2000, something else. And something that had to do with population, maybe?
The population and the
Those
projections.
figures are all correct.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so what,
You want to know what the population of the town is now by census? I did put that in there,
okay,
which kind of, I thought maybe skewed the other things I didn't know. The town's population is 8,537. But I was all
Okay.
tied up in FinCom stuff because I wrote it as $8,000, 537.
So-
That's a finance committee person.
so I actually just put a decimal and 2 zeros when you said it. I don't know why I did that, but I crossed it out. So you're imposing your
No,
thoughts
I think
on
it's
me there.
0.5 actually. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm thinking that I should do, because this won't violate our quorum, is I'll make those changes, Andrea, that you suggest. I'll take the track changes off so it's a little bit easier to read. I'll archive the one like I always do. You guys know I make a different version, so we can always go back to the prior one if we need to see the evolution of it.
Mhm.
So I'll save this one with a new date and version number. I'll send it to you first, Andrea, to make sure that it works. And then if you're okay, I'll send it to the rest of the group.
Okay.
And then I have a proposal to everyone after that. So the water chapter. After we got some of the maps and such, I took the draft that we had been working from, which, Karen, correct me, I thought that Todd had some involvement through talking with you on that draft.
Correct.
Okay. So I took that draft and I added in the maps that we had and survey information kind of at the end and said, here's what we have. And I wrote to Karen and Todd who were working on it. I think I might have sent that whole chapter to everyone. Like these are the additions. But wanting Todd to make sure that those maps were integrated with the survey data. And he wrote back that he didn't agree with the chapter as it was, so he wanted to rewrite it. And he was having a problem with Google Docs. And then he forwarded me something with Google Docs, but I couldn't open it and Karen couldn't open it. I wrote to Todd, actually prior to Karen trying, I wrote to Todd and said, I can't open this. Can you download what you have into Word and send it to me? He said he would. I haven't gotten that. I followed up with him and then I did forward the link to Karen to see, can you open this? Where she had been working on it. Can't get it open. I don't know if anyone else can access that drive and get that document. But I need your help, thoughts, and suggestions on, do we just take the chapter that we already had with the maps and the survey at the bottom, send that updated draft back over to planning board, or do we try to get this new draft that Todd has?
The problem is when you sent it to me, it's appearing right on top of his email address, so I can't click on it. So
Right.
Is that how it arrived to you, or do you actually see straight the Google Doc?
No, it's a little wonky how it's sent to me, and then I get messages on the top of the email, like warnings about opening and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but if it was just what I was supposed to open, I'd probably be able to click on it and get it. But there was just no way you couldn't click on it because it was superimposed.
Yeah, it was like written over something.
It was odd.
So if you get an email like that, it probably just means you need to look at the source rather than the HTML format. So there should be a way, if you want to send the email to me, to actually find the Google Doc link in there.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill. You're better at that than I. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay.
All right.
I'll send that to you, Bill.
And if I get it out, I will just extract it into a Word document and send it back to you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Now, I know that we're planning on meeting on the 26th, is it?
Yes.
So my thought is, Bill, I know you're not available. But is it possible for us to meet on the 16th so that the chapter that Andrea was working on in this water chapter can be looked at and then sent over to the planning board? And that we have kind of all of these wrapped up for us to review on the 26th?
So you need 4 for a quorum.
Yes.
So I guess it's a matter of whether you, Don, Karen, and Andrea can make it.
Yes.
Right. I will be around. I may have Dylan that day. So
Someone else will take
taking will
notes.
be, yeah, no, taking will be tough. I'm not certain if he's going to be here. It all depends on rain.
Okay.
I'll be around on the 16th. That's a Thursday, and I mean on the 15th.
No,
Did you say the 15th or the 16th?
16th.
Friday the 16th.
Okay, Friday. Yeah,
Yep.
well, I'll still be around. I should
Okay.
be all right.
Dawn, will you be around?
Yep.
Okay. So 8:30 a.m. Kim, you want me to put it in for?
Yeah, if you could do that. Let's first check to see with Hartley if there's anything
Oh,
scheduled as of right now,
Right.
even though we have to request the time just to do a check.
Yes. Okay.
Rather than knowingly.
I don't, not to interrupt, but I don't think there's anything next Friday morning that would interfere. It's going to be 8:30, same time
Yes.
today, right?
Yep.
I don't think so, but notify TCAM first, because then
Of
they'll
course.
notify me.
Yep.
But I personally, I don't think so, but check with TCAM first.
Okay, great. And that also will give me some time to string some chapters together. If Andrea and I can work out the about section, get that out of track changes, get everything else out of track changes based on our meeting today, just so that we have, even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes on that day to just go over these outstanding things and get them compiled into a document. And then we can review the status of the water and the about section and get that over to the planning board as well. So then I think that we should be, in good shape for everything, to have them previously reviewed it, have a document that's ready to go on the 26th to send over to MRPC for their review. That seems
Seems like a good plan.
good plan. Okay. Stepping back just a little bit, if the maps and the survey data are not integrated into the chapter that Bill's going to try to retrieve from Todd, what do we do about that? Do we ask some?
I can try Todd once again.
Okay, and then if not, Karen, would you be able to call one of the other commissioners or call over to the water department and just, ask for them to look at the map and say, can you give me 3 sentences about how you would interpret this map?
Okay.
It just, like I said, it's just the one area where I'm not very well, not that I'm helpful in any area over anyone else, but that's an area that I can't help with.
Right. All right, I'll try again. Well, hopefully Bill will be able to pull it up for us and send it. So I'll just wait. Bill, I'll just wait for your expertise.
Okay, I probably won't get till tonight because I've got to go to work in a minute. But
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe come Monday, I'll know what.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll let you know one way or the other, success or failure.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anything else that anyone would like to bring up for today? Okay, so just to review, I'm going to make those changes that we talked about regarding that within the housing chapter, it will mention as a separate zoning chapter, same for economic development. And within any of the chapters that have maps, we'll list which maps are going in there, and I'll add into the zoning that it was driven from suggestions from survey and feedback from Judy Barrett, who's a specialist in zoning. I'll make those changes that Andrea mentioned. I'll send that back to her once she confirms that those are her changes. I'll send that to everyone, and Bill's going to work on helping us to access the water. And I think that's it
That's
for
everything
today.
I knew about.
Okay. Then I think that's it.
Okay,
All right, is it my turn?
It is.
All right, I move that we close the meeting at 8:58.
I'll second the motion.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Bye.
All right. Stay dry with all this rain, and we'll talk soon.
All right,
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Hartley.
Aye.
bye-bye.